Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Emily and today we are doing a book tag. So as you can see by the title, today we are going to do the Hamilton book tag. I'm obsessed with Hamilton. I think it's just an absolutely genius piece of artwork. The music is incredible, the lyrics are incredible, Lin-Manuel Miranda in general is incredible. So I saw that this was a book tag and I knew I immediately needed to do it because I am always looking for an excuse to A, listen to the Hamilton soundtrack, and B, talk about books. If you're into Hamilton and haven't read this, this is really amazing. It's basically an annotated script by Lin-Manuel Miranda, and then there are also chapters about different aspects of creating this musical by one of his right-hand men. There are also like incredible photos within it of the actual actors on stage and all of that. So I'm dying to see Hamilton, haven't yet, but I've listened to the soundtrack probably a million times. I know all the words practically, so enough gushing and rambling about Hamilton. Let's get into the questions. So the first question is room where it happens. What is a book world that you would like to live in? And for this I chose the Darker Shades of Magic trilogy by V.E. Schwab. This world centers on 4 different parallel Londons that all exist in the same time, and they all have different varying levels of magic. So we've got Grey London, which is essentially the London that we know in our world that has no magic to it. We've got Red London, where magic is thriving and flourishing and it's used well. We've got White London, which is being kind of just consumed by magic, and it's just a really desolate place where magic has taken over. And then there's Black London, which has actually already been destroyed by magic and no one can travel there. There are certain people who possess the ability to perform blood magic. These are called Antari, and Kel, our main character, is one of them. So he can travel between all the different Londons. However, other people who just have either minimal or no magic can't do so. It's just really intriguing, both how the magic is used, but also just the idea of 4 different Londons is really cool to me. I've never been to our London, but I think I'd really like it, so that makes me think that I would enjoy living in this world. Next question, Schuyler Sisters, an underrated female character. For this, I'm going to go with Beth March from Little Women. This is mostly just an excuse to talk about this book because it's one of my all-time favorites. I think Beth is such a quietly dignified and strong and supportive character. She is not, the most exciting. She's not doing very much. She's perfectly okay to just sit back and watch her sister do other things with their lives, and she just wants to be a part of it. She's just such a beautiful, beautiful soul, and I wanted to talk about her. So, Beth March. I am not throwing away my shot. I am not throwing away my shot. I am just like my country. I'm young, scrappy, and hungry, and I'm not throwing away my shot. Question 3, my shot, and this is a character who will go after what they want no matter what. And I kind of took this as like resiliency and determination, and again, kind of fit it because I wanted to talk about this book, but I'm going to go with Mark Watney from The Martian. This is an incredible novel. So this is about Mark Watney, who is an astronaut that is stranded on Mars, and he is trying to survive long enough for a rescue mission to come and get him. It's told partially in the form of his diary, so you're in his head and you're reading directly from his perspective, which is hilarious. So funny, especially considering he is stranded by himself on Mars. So way to look on the bright side, but he is determined to make sure he stays alive and can get back to Earth. So I think that's really inspiring. It's also just an incredible book, like I said. It's definitely one of my top favorite books, so give it a read if you haven't already. Question 4 is Stay Alive. Who is a character that you wish was still alive? Mine is from the Harry Potter series, and obviously this is a spoiler, so if you haven't read the books or if you haven't seen the movies, skip ahead because I don't want to spoil it for you. Once you see me put the book down, you're good to go. My favorite character from the Harry Potter series dies in book 7. Professor R.J. Lupin, Remus Lupin, Moony. I love him so much. I'm heartbroken that he had to die in the Battle of Hogwarts. It's just, He and Tonks died, like, just, oh my god, ripped my heart out. Poor little Teddy. I can't really put it into, I'm still grieving this loss, you know, a decade later or whatever it is. But yeah, he's my favorite, so of course I wish he was still alive. Question 5 is Burn. What is the saddest end to a relationship that you have read? This is also maybe a little bit of a spoiler, but I also feel like it's kind of implied. It's between Louisa Clark and Will Traynor in Me Before You. I really enjoyed reading it. I thought it was a really beautiful love story. I really love Louisa and Will and sort of the differences in their characters and just how they interact with one another. And when their relationship ended, I was a weepy mess. I was a weepy mess for about the last third of this book, I would say. It's really good. It definitely is worth the hype. It's beautiful, well written, and I think the characters are developed really, really well. So I would recommend it. It does make you think about ableism and how people who are quadriplegic navigate society. So I think for me it also opened up bigger questions about this community and these people. So in that way I really liked it as well. But yeah, this one broke my heart. The Reynolds pamphlet. What is a twist that you didn't see coming? I'm not going to spoil these and say what the twists are. I'm just going to say that they took me by surprise. I'm cheating because I'm mentioning 3 books, but all of the books in the Cormoran Strike trilogy that Robert Galbraith, aka J.K. Rowling, has written. I'm just going to go ahead and hold up the one that surprised me the most. This book is amazing. It's so good. You think of J.K. Rowling as just a fantasy YA, like Harry Potter author. You don't think that she would do more than that, or that she would do it so well. Her mystery books are so phenomenal. This one is especially good. It's so creepy, and I don't want to spoil it, so I won't tell you why I'm like cringing, smiling, but I just think it's so good. And like I said, all 3 of these took me by surprise. Totally didn't see it coming. They all are sort of like murder mysteries, and in the end you find out who did it. I'm so excited that there's a 4th one coming out, I think this year. Obviously Harry Potter is my number 1 J.K. Rowling, but these are also really good. Read them, please. Man, the man is non-stop. Gentlemen of the jury, I'm curious, bear with me. Are you aware that we're making history? Next question is non-stop. What is a series that you marathoned? And for this, I'm going to go with the Divergent Trilogy. So I marathoned these back in college, between my fall and spring semester of senior year. I was realizing I was pretty late to the game. I was hearing some good things, and I found them for really cheap on Amazon. I bought them all and basically just sat and read for the entirety of my winter break, which was great. I really liked the Divergent series. I know not everyone loves them. I definitely want to go back and reread them because I think I was really like all consumed. I hadn't been reading very much at that time in my life, so it was like falling in love with reading again. So I do want to reread them at some point. Just gotta find a time to do so. Next up is Satisfied. What is a book with multiple points of view? And for this, I'm going to go with the Three Dark Crowns series. I know that with the lighting, there's gross fingerprints on the cover of this book, so I'm so sorry. This is the 2nd book in the series. I'm sure there are more coming out. We follow 3 main characters, Catherine, Arsenault, and Mirabella. I'm not going to go into what these books are about because it's a really complex world and that will take too long. But what I love is that with each point of view, you really get to learn and know about each setting that each of the girls are in, because they're not all together. So you really learn the ins and outs of all of the different communities that they are a part of, which I really liked. It is really confusing at the beginning of the 1st book because you're trying to keep track of who everyone is, where everyone is. It's one of those books that has a map in it, and I remember when I first read Three Dark Crowns, for the first couple chapters, I was opening this up over and over trying to figure out where everything was. But yeah, I really like these books. I thought the first one was better than the second one. Didn't like the novella that recently came out all that much, but I'm excited to see where it goes. This is definitely one that's creepy and dark and is keeping me guessing, so I'm excited for whatever the title of the next one is. Okay, next up is Helpless. What is a relationship you were rooting for from the very start? I know I keep talking about this book, but I just loved it so much. Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda. This is just the sweetest romance and love story. I absolutely loved it. I was rooting for Simon and Blue the entire time. I was just waiting for it to happen and crossing my fingers that eventually we would find out who Blue is and all that. So I talk about Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda in my last video, so I will link that either up here or down below or however you do that. If you just want to see me like gush and grin about this story, it's so good. I literally can't stop talking about it, can't stop recommending it, so it had to be on this list somewhere.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's the 10 dual commandments. It's the 10 dual commandments.
Next up, we have 10 Dual Commandments, and that is basically what is the best fight scene in a book. And for this, I am going to go with Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. So this book is really interesting. It's told through like different case files, instant messages, like weird like text art. I don't know. It's unlike any other book that I've ever read. At the beginning, this mining colony that isn't really supposed to be doing what they're doing on this like planet way off out in the middle of nowhere in the universe is attacked, and some of the citizens are able to escape, and we are following them as they are being pursued by their attackers. The like real true battle scene in this, there are multiple, and the reason I picked this is because you're not really getting like the same descriptions of battles you would get in like a George R.R. Martin, like Game of Thrones or something like that. This, because it's all told through case files and instant messages and stuff, it's a totally different way to experience it. I mean, this book is just so creative, and it just made for really interesting battle scenes and fight scenes. So, yeah.
Well, even despite our estrangement, I've got a small query for you. What comes next?
Next is What Comes Next, so a book or series that you wish had more continuation. This is probably not going to come as a surprise. This is also a book / series I can't stop talking about. Six of Crows duology by Leigh Bardugo. I loved these two books, and the ending was satisfying, more or less, but I am just still so curious about some of the characters. I want to see how they're doing after the conclusion. But part of me is also like, I don't want to ruin these two books because they were so good. I kind of just want to let them be. It's more so that I just want to be with these characters again. I thought they were so well crafted and loved all of their relationships with each other, and it's so good. So part of me is like, no, I feel good about the ending, but also part of me is like, but how are they all doing?
Here comes the General of Washington. We are outgunned, outmanned, outnumbered, outgunned. Gotta make it all outstand. Hey, yo, I'm gonna need a right-hand man.
Next is Right Hand Man. So what two male characters, or what male character friendships do you really love? And for this, I'm going to go with Fezzik and Inigo from The Princess Bride. This is my favorite movie. I am obsessed. I just think it's so good. The book is also really, really, really good. You get so much more backstory to all of the characters and just more depth in general. But I just love Fezzik and Inigo's friendship and their support of one another and willingness to help. I just think they're precious. I love both of them as individuals and their interactions with each other. They're just both really quirky, really funny characters. And that is only heightened when they're interacting with each other, so yeah.
Now the work at home begins. So what did I miss?
Alright, what did I miss? Book series that you were late to starting. And I still haven't finished this, but Shadowhunters Chronicles by Cassandra Clare. So I just finished City of Bones maybe a week ago, and it was really good. I'm very intrigued and I want to continue. So this book was released in like 2009, 2007, so I'm like 10 years late to the game, but I'm excited to continue with this series and see what it's all about. So stay tuned for my Adventures with the Shadowhunters Chronicles.
Let me tell you what I wish I'd known when I was young and dreamed of glory. You have no control. Who lives, who dies, who tells your story? President.
Alright, and the last question is, who lives, who dies, who tells your story? What is a book or series that you think will live forever? I feel like probably every single person who does this book tag goes with this answer, and it's super obvious, but Harry Potter by J.K. Rowling. I love this series. I think everyone answers with this book because they grew up with this and they can't imagine it not being a part of their life, and so they can't imagine it not being a part of every young child's life. But I genuinely don't see a future where parents aren't like encouraging their children to read this book, probably because we all love it and we want our kids to read it because we loved it, you know, like, so a cycle maybe will happen. I do think this is pretty timeless, and it's a great story about friendship and magic and good versus evil, and there are just so many good and important themes and lessons in it. So I know everyone says this, but I genuinely hope Harry Potter is here to stay around forever. My heart. Alright, that is everything for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching it. I enjoyed making it. Subscribe to my channel for new videos every week, and leave a comment down below with a couple of your answers to some of these questions, and we can chat some more. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!